But in any case, how many of us have really had the gratitude to God that we were able to do X in order to fulfill Y, where Y is something that we really wanted to do. Maybe you didn't even know that you wanted to do it, but you were able to either connect with an organization or spend more time with your family or whatever it is that feels like this makes me feel fulfilled. This is, and to be grateful. And that's what it feels like David is doing. David is saying, my whole life, this is what I wanted, was actually, he said, I mean, he wrote beautiful poetry, Tehillim, Psalms, and other things he did. And the fact that he was allowed to, towards the end of his life, I guess, spend more time learning and being in Heichal Hashem, in God's presence, in God's sanctuary, that's because he was successful in the wars. So that was another way of learning it. Okay. Okay, the next question that we had on verse 4 was this. First of all, David says a little disingenuously, Achat sha'alti, one thing I asked from God. So he doesn't really ask for one thing. He kind of asks for three things. Shifti b'beit Hashem. I will sit in God's house my whole life. One it perhaps you could say that this is okay. That the second parts are, what's the word? They're qualifiers for the first part. Okay. Shifti b'beit Hashem kol mechai. That is what I want, to be in God's house all the days of my life, in order to wonder or envision. Lachazot is actually, the word chazon is a vision. I don't know why they translate as wonder, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, because I think what it means is observing the splendor of God in wonder. Ulevaker, and to visit in God's holiest place. So I don't know if you remember, but we said if you're going, oh, Estelle. Hi, Estelle. Welcome back. We just started discussing verse 4 and saying, is it really one request or is it more than one request? And we have another question that if you're visiting every day, right? It says, sorry, Shifti b'beit Hashem kol mechai, I will sit in God's house all the days. What is the word levaker? Who knows what the word, like bikor cholim? What does it mean?
Visiting.
Visit. So I want to ask you something. If somebody visits, is that a person who comes every day? I mean, it could be, I guess. But generally, no. I would say not. I would say, right, generally, if you go every day, or if it's your day, if it's your work every day, that's not the same thing as visiting. So at first glance, so again, you could say it's in order to visit God's place, but it does feel like they're a little bit in contention with each other, the everyday and the visiting. So here was a beautiful way to describe it. Hello, we have people showing up for the next program. We have a class till 12. Here's an idea, and this is the way I gave it an example of somebody who works at the Met. Anybody here patrons of the Met? That doesn't mean you're paying. I mean that you like it. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, yeah. So other people like going to the Met? Yep. Most people like going to something in the Met. Oh, Judy also. Anybody else? Ruby, you like the Met? What's not to like, right? My Israeli son-in-law walked around the first time, 7 out from the second it opened at 10 o'clock till 5 o'clock. He said he couldn't feel his feet anymore, his legs. And he was in wonder. And he said, I just want to go back and do that again, all over again. He literally walked around for 7 hours and was amazed by that. I could not do that, just being very, very transparent here. I'm not capable. I would get overload, but he loved it. And it was really special for him. In any case, if you are a guard, let's say, or even maybe a docent, and you go every single day to the Met, probably at least certain rooms, the newness would wear off. Does that make sense? I love Monet. Every time I go to the Met, not every day. It doesn't matter what I go to see. I always go to see the Monet because I could The Monets are one thing that I could stand, all day and look at them, or at least I think I could. I probably couldn't, but I think I can. And every time it feels new and fresh to me. But even I guess if I was a docent in the Monet room, I imagine that after a while, the newness would wear off. But if you only come as a bikur, as a visitor, then every time it could feel fresh for you. And some people explain it so beautifully this way, that David really wants to come every single day, but to always feel the wonder, as if he was just a visitor. To always feel the wonder of God, to always feel the splendor of God, to always feel that feeling of newness, of wonder, of desire for connection, as if he only came as a visitor. And I thought that's just a beautiful way to explain it, to explain the connection between, or the seeming contention between visiting and being every day. Does that resonate with people? Somebody have something they want to say, or?
Sometimes you think it's something very temporary. A
Yeah.
visitor doesn't always have depth. The visitor can just be very superficial.
Could actually not have depth.
Yeah.
So maybe you're seeing it as not as.
I just don't like that word.
So well, Ruby doesn't like that word. I can't take it out of the psalm for you. I apologize. But here's another way of understanding it. Maybe you'll like this better. The word levaker also means to discern or to have some sort of criticism or discern. Let's use the word discernment. So some people explain it is to have discernment, meaning that every time I visit or every time I'm there, even if it's every day, I reach deeper and deeper depths. How does that work for people? That's better. Okay, Ruby's happier. Great.
I
always like to make people happy. Yeah, Karen.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, as I was listening to a couple shiurim on Bereshit last week, everyone seems to start out saying, we're doing this all over again. And then they say right away, but there is so much new, even though we've done this so many times. Each time you do the Parsha, you learn things that you never saw before.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, so that's how it resonates with me,
Nice, beautiful. Yep. To seize, it's not so much that we don't lose the wonder, it's more that we see something each time. So that works. Right. So then levaker, to discern, actually works well. So you like that. That's also good. Beautiful.
Right.
Great. Judy, what did you want to say? Thank you.
You may have taught us this before, so I don't want to say that it's my idea. But in the word levaker is boker, like the morning. So
well, that's correct. And that we said was that he would come every morning. And that's another way to understand
it. But in the morning, like we're fresh in the morning, just like you were saying. So it wakes the newness of the day.
Oh, that's also nice. Yes. Beautiful. So that also fits in. So either it could be levaker, meaning to visit every day, because every day there's a morning. Boker comes every single day. You're saying more from the point of view of newness or freshness. Beautiful. So that's great. I love that. That's all of these somewhere in the same direction, in the vicinity of the same direction. Okay. So I spent much more time in previous, maybe we'll get to Rav Elchanan's summit, I'm not sure, but let's continue reading the Psalm. Ki yitzpeneni b'sukkah. Remember, we're still in the place where David is feeling safety and security. Ki yitzpeneni has the word safun in it. Safun, from the Leil HaSeder. What does safun mean? Does anybody remember? What is the step of the Seder that's safun?
The afikomen.
Right, but what does safun mean? Safun doesn't mean afikomen, just saying. Anybody remember what that word means? Well, what do you do with the afikomen?
We hide it.
We hide it. Safun means hidden.
Right.
That is what safun. So that hints to the fact that either the parents might hide it and the kids have to find it, or the kids hide it, they have to find it. Even if you're sitting by yourself at a Seder, you still have to sort of hide it and put it away and then say, oh, look at that, look what I found, even if you were the one to there. By the way, just so you know, Tzafun, you'll like this, Judy. Tzafun and Tzafon are written exactly the same. What is Tzafon?
North.
Why is the north called Tzafon? Because the light is hidden from the north in Israel. The light of the sun, you don't see it directly in Israel from the north. You see it from the east, you see it from the west, and even from the south. But from the north, it's hidden. So Tzafun and Tzafon are actually connected in Hebrew. So Yitzpeneni Besuko, God has sheltered me in God's sukkah. What is a sukkah?
Like a tent,
Not exactly a tent,
pavilion.
a pavilion or a booth. I guess you would call it, like a sukkah, Well, it could be a shed, I guess, but it's more of a pavilion or a booth. So that, remember I said there was a connection to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? This is the connection to Sukkot, because we say it from a month before Rosh Hashanah all the way through Sukkot. Here's the connection to Sukkot. God will protect me, hide me, shelter me, however you want to call it, in a sukkah. Biyom ra'ah, on a day of distress or a bad day or an evil day, meaning a day when evil comes before me. Yastireni, so yastireni also means to hide. Beseter oholo, God will hide me under cover in God's tent. So we're seeing the parallel. You see that? Safun, yitzpeneni, hide me, and then, okay. Bitsur yiromimeni, and lift me up on a rock. Yes, Lance.
Sukkot is Zaman Simchasenu, isn't it?
The holiday is, but not
Yes.
the Sukkah.
And my understanding is that in the Israelites during the Exodus lived in tents, not Sukkot.
I don't know. Were you there? I can only say God says that the reason that you keep Sukkot is because God gave us Sukkot.
What is the Hebrew word for joy in this psalm?
In this psalm? I don't know. Do we see
Joy occurs once.
Truah? Truah, like that one. Ashira, I will give praise. I mean,
No, there's joy. I'll try to.
Zivchei Truah means, I don't know, I don't know. Joy. Where is joy? I don't know. Am I
That's,
missing it?
I'll find it.
Okay.
Here it is.
Verse.
It is verse 6.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I said. Zivchei Truah. Okay, sorry. Yes.
Okay, I have a serious problem here.
But 1 second, it's not clear that it means joy. Zivchei Truah
Right.
is offerings with basically the trumpet, the shofar Truah. So
But
I know it's translated as joy. I'm not sure that's the right
the
translation.
problem I have, Rabbani Bracha, is this.
Yeah.
Sukkot, we say this psalm during Sukkot every day, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Sukkot, according to Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, is about Simcha. But more importantly, the text that we read on the intermediate Sabbath of Sukkot is Kohelet.
Okay.
The Kohelet, most people think of as a downer. In other words, wisdom is worthless, life
Does
is
this have
worthless.
to do with this psalm? Okay, go on.
Okay, how many times does the word Simcha occur in Kohelet?
Wait, but aren't we going far afield from this psalm?
No, I'm trying to suggest that
Yeah.
this psalm is inappropriate for Sukkot.
Because of Kohelet?
Yes, absolutely. This is not my
Okay,
idea.
so 1 second, but let's go back to the Torah, which says it's man simchatenu. By the way, Kohelet has suggestions for how to live a happy life. We learned Kohelet. Did you learn it with me? We learned it in this class. We spent the whole year on Kohelet, and we came to the conclusion that Kohelet actually has suggestions for how to lead a happy, simple life. So I'm not 100% sure I agree with you. But Kohelet is it's after the fact that the rabbis superimposed Kohelet on Sukkot. If we're talking about Sukkot from the Torah, it's Man Simchatenu, not Kohelet. Kohelet was
But-
much later.
Rabbi Sachs
Yeah.
connects Kohelet with Sukkot with the one word simcha.
Okay,
How
but
many times does simcha appear in
I
Kohelet?
feel like you're taking something very far afield. I mean,
I'm
we're
just going
learning
with
this-
Rabbi Sachs.
No, I know that, but he wasn't talking about the Psalm. He was talking about the holiday of Sukkot.
But we read the psalm
But we also
every
read
day.
it a whole month of Tishrei. That's 30 times, 60 times. And Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot is just the last 7 days.
I
What
know,
about the
but what I'm
first 40?
suggesting,
What about the first 40
what I'm
days?
suggesting is it is not necessarily appropriate for Sukkot
You think it
because
should be, yeah.
because there's no mention of simcha in this entire psalm. Right? Does the word simcha appear in this psalm?
Other things that God will hide in the sukkah. So that's the connection. It's a different connection. It's a connection.
Right. But what I'm trying to suggest,
So
Rabbi
you think
Bracha,
the rabbi should have stopped on Erev Sukkot? Okay, I hear that. I don't agree with you,
I
but
just
if that's
want
your
to,
thought,
yeah, I just
no
want to
problem.
suggest to Lance that for me, the first part of this Tehillim is simcha. To feel protected is great simcha.
Which is why it
And-
says Ashira v'Zamra LaHashem.
Right.
We'll sing in
And,
praise to
and
God.
you know, I haven't listened to Rabbi Sachs, but Sukkot is also feeling vulnerability. That's, if I'm correct,
Yeah,
we do feel vulnerable in the Sukkah.
he
Uh,
calls it the festival of insecurity. Somebody calls it
Yes,
that.
yes.
So it's both. It holds different
Both.
feelings, which is very
Both.
similar to this psalm.
Exactly.
Holds
That's my
security and
point.
insecurity.
And I
would
do
al-
think there's simcha in this psalm.
Yeah, for sure the beginning has 100%.
Yeah,
And the second part is requesting, and I want to say, we say it through Hoshana Rabbah. And Hoshana Rabbah is still Zman Simchatenu, but it's a day when we have 3 hours of davening. We say Hoshanot, where we ask God for help. And that's exactly what he does in the Psalm. So actually, there's a lot of good,
Right.
solid connections.
'Cause
Even
the
in
doors,
Kohelet, I'm
yeah,
sure we
yeah.
could find connections if we looked.
the doors
Well,
are
Rabbi
closed.
Bracha,
on
you guys,
Hoshana
Felicia,
Rabbah.
I mean, you guys are absolutely right in everything you say. I understand it completely. However, going by Rabbi Sachs, going by Kohelet, when you have a world which is absolutely hell around us, and the only thing, what can you do? The only thing you can do, according to Rabbi Sachs, is a communal feast.
Wait, 1 second. This is just really far afield from learning the
It's not
Psalm.
far
So
afield because it has to do with Sukkot.
I understand that, but we say it 80 times before Sukkot even comes, 85, 86 times. So you might not agree, even though we've given you reasons why we think it should be said through Sukkot. You don't think so. I have no issue with that. I just don't want to get into a conversation about whether Kohelet should be read on Sukkot, whether it makes it not Zman
Okay.
Simchatenu, whether we should say that. I get it. You don't think so. We actually see connection to Sukkot. You don't. And by the way, that's not Rabbi Sachs. That's the Torah that says Zman Simchatenu, just so you know.
Right, but there,
And
I
read
have
the
a
other
number of
Rabbi
other
Sachs, where he calls
problems.
wait, and then read the other Rabbi Sachs, where he calls it a festival of insecurity, which shows that it's very similar to this psalm. It's both happiness, joy, and bringing in the produce and gathering in, and it's a festival of insecurity because of the Sukkot. So actually, just do more Rabbi Sachs research, and you'll have more answers.
Well,
Okay.
isn't it true, Rabbi Bracha, that after we say the David Nuri in the synagogue, we say Mourner's Kaddish?
I'm sorry, your internet connection became unstable.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Do we say the Mourner's Kaddish after reciting this psalm?
Oh, no. We're not going there. We're talking about the psalm. Let's get back to the psalm.
All
Okay.
right, so I
We
have
can
a
have another
question.
conversation about Sukkot, but let's talk about the psalm. That's what we're learning, tapping into Tehillim.
Okay, I don't understand because I don't read Hebrew that well. Where is the word sukkah?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's in, I'll show you 1 second.
I pulled up an English and Hebrew translation, on
It
my
is
screen
in verse
Verse
5.
in verse 5. Oh, tabernacle.
Well, tabernacle.
Is that what it's
I
referring
don't know
to?
what tabernacle is. Ki yitzpeneni b'sukkot. that God will hide us or shelter us in God's sukkah.
Her translation problem.
So your translation, I mean, here the translation is shelter. That's weird that, no,
Oh.
tabernacle is not, it's from verse 4. That's hey chalo is tabernacle.
Oh,
It's verse 5, Carol. Look at verse 5. Can you read the Hebrew? Just read the first words of verse 5.
I can't read it.
Oh, you can't read it? Okay, so I'll read it for you. Ki yitzpeneni besuko.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Okay.
got it now?
Okay, so they translated, this translation says tabernacle,
What does it say? Read the whole phrase.
that he will hide me in his tabernacle on the day of calamity.
So I don't know
He
why.
will conceal me in the secrecy of his tent. He will lift
Yeah,
me.
but 1 second, go back. So it could be that they're giving a non-literal translation to sukkah, saying God's sukkah is God's tabernacle. That's like that's a commentary on it. Okay? But do you
Okay,
see the word? Can you read the word in Hebrew? Samach kaf hey sukkah? Do you see?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
So now
saw
you
that.
see it, right?
Okay,
Okay, great.
Thank
you
you.
for that question. I appreciate it. Yes, Tirena besed the Tsur Roman. Okay. The Tsur Roman mania, Tsur is a rock. And so this is the idea that if David has enemies, what happens when you get up and you're lifted up on a rock, you have much better view of the enemies. I think that's what he's referring to. And then moving on to verse 6, and now because he's on a rock, my head will be raised or lifted al oivai, over my enemies, vivotai, that are around me. And what will I do? And I will give offerings in God's ohel, meaning in God's tent, which, right, that's comparable to the sukkah. Zivchei teruah. So this is translated as with shouts of joy, which that's the way it's translated in here, with shouts of joy, which makes sense, although I guess I'd have to look at translations, commentaries to see why that. Ashira va'azamra laHashem. I will sing and give praise to God, which, as some of us feel, Lance, you don't, but some of us feel this is definitely talking about joy. So there's a little bit of each thing. Look, it doesn't talk about Rosh Hashanah, it doesn't talk about Yom Kippur, but there's small literal or literary, connections that say it's appropriate. And in addition, there are ideological, theological, philosophical connections that seem to connect it to this time of year. And as Karen said, like for herself,
What does he,
like,
what does,
you can hold both. Yeah.
yeah. What does it mean, offerings? What actually is he
Well,
bring?
David, at the time of David, even though the Beit HaMikdash wasn't built yet, but there was Shiloh, where an altar was built to God. So I think he actually meant real offerings, something we don't do today.
Oh,
He
really?
actually meant bringing offerings and shouting trumpets or shofarot with joy, both. Or maybe singing also, I don't know, but Ashira, I will sing, Ba'azamra, and I will give praise. It's like, they're both words of song, shir and zemer, but in the Tanakh translation, it's with joy. So this, until here, we have now concluded the first part, which speaks of security, of joy, of jubilation, and I think thankfulness. Do people see thankfulness as well in here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Where do you
he's
see
glad.
thankfulness? Yeah. Well, he's definitely glad, but I think that offerings are usually thankfulness. That's often what it represents. When people bring offerings to God, it's either for doing a sin, for doing, something like that. Ladies in the room, something to say. Ellen, something coming up for you? No, you're good. Ruby.
The only question I have is the word tent. Tent to me is not a strong structure.
Right.
So-
Oh, interesting.
It's not firm.
And neither is a sukkah. Sukkah is a booth or a
Right.
pavilion.
Temporary.
They're first building up to create something stronger, something more meaningful to worship
So
God.
you're saying, that's so interesting. So you're saying that when David, well, well, it does say tabernacle according to Carol's translation, but you're saying in God's tent. Well, I imagine that God has the power to make a tent as firm as God wants it, but I hear what you're saying.
But I think that makes the safety even stronger.
Oh,
I mean,
oh.
if you can make somebody feel safe in a tent,
Oh, that's interesting.
then you are
That's a
really
beautiful idea.
strong.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Who feels safe in a
anybody
tent?
can feel,
But if you're in a tent, as we know it, we would not feel strong. We'd not
well,
feel
but
safe.
but what he's saying is that even in a tent, God makes me feel safe.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to describe it. And you can also say according to both directions, because you could also say according to what Ruby is saying, well, then that's a natural lead in to the next pasuk where he doesn't feel so secure. Maybe. Lance, yes, and that'll be the end because it's 11:58. Yeah.
And now I lost my thought.
Oh,
Hold on. Let me see if I can get it right. Okay. I can't think of it. I'll have
When
to come
come
back to
see
that.
you, write it down and bring it to either, or send me in an email and then I can answer it.
Okay, will do.
Great. All
I
right, my
just want to
friends.
say
Yeah.
one last thing that
Yes.
we just made a Su'udat Hoda'ah, and
Yeah.
all the speeches were about, you know, we can't bring a mizbeach, obviously, what you just said, you know, so our offerings were words and food. You know, we had a
Wow.
feast. So
What was it? Can I ask what it was
and
for?
my son was ill, and
Got
so
it. Oh,
Baruch
for medical
Hashem,
thing. Sorry, you didn't have
yeah,
to say what it was. I
yeah.
didn't know what you were
No,
doing.
that's
It was
fine.
communal.
That's fine. We did it in the sukkah, and but
That's
what you said
beautiful.
resonated with me because you know every speech said mizbeach hoda'ah, but we don't do that
Wow.
anymore.
That's
So
really
yeah,
beautiful. And by the way, that actually tallies beautifully because what David is saying is I'm not just offering words, I'm doing whatever I can do, which shows that you should do something public. And you did something public. I assume you invited
we
people.
did, we did, we
Beautiful.
totally did, we
That's,
totally did.
Baruch Hashem,
Yeah,
that's such good news to end.
Baruch
Lance, we
Hashem.
are at
Yes,
12
yes.
o'clock. Do you want to pose the question or comment? Thank you for sharing it.
I remember what I wanted to say. First of all, temple is normally called mikdash, isn't it? There's no mikdash in this
yes.
song.
Oh, well, the temple wasn't built yet.
Okay. But if you say Beis Adonai, you're saying that the house of God is a bayit, right?
Beit Hashem. Where does it say that?
Okay.
And his what? Birthday?
50 B'Beit Hashem,
Oh,
number.
We haven't gotten there. Oh, Achat Sha'alti, yeah.
Right.
But that
Right.
could be a shul, right? That could be a Beit Midrash. Doesn't have to be the temple. Could be any
But-
place where,
But
yeah.
the word
place of holiness.
for God in in Genesis certainly is hamakom, a place, not a house.
Makom could be Hashem also.
But there's a big difference between a house and a place. In other words, is the
Wait, where
sukkah
did you get that the makom is in Bereshit? That it-
hamakom? And
Where
look at
does
the
it say
story of
hama-
the angels going up and down the ladder.
Oh, I know that, but what about Hashem? Like the name Yud Kei Vav Kei Elokim comes up a lot in
God's
Bereshit, doesn't it?
God's place is hamakom.
Okay, let's say, yeah, that's true. It is used. What else? Yeah.
But the thing is, in this psalm, okay, it's
Yeah.
like it's a different understanding of God. God is a protector. God will create the temple, whatever you want to look at. But the truth of the matter, if you look at the Haftorah about King Solomon, you'll notice that King Solomon puts his house above the temple. And the temple is not a place for God. The temple is a place for the priests. Temple is
Sorry,
not the
we
home of
lost
God.
you, Lance.
What?
I didn't understand the point you were making. Can you go
I'm
back to the
zipping
point?
along here, and it's hard. I know it's hard to follow me, But
No,
the
We
basic,
also, we lost connection with you. Yeah,
oh, you lost connection. Can you hear me now?
That, oh, we can't hear you. We don't.
now we can
connection.
hear you.
Okay. So what I'm trying to suggest is that there are many interpretations that you're putting on here. But according to Kohelet, interpretations are vanity, fleeting breaths. What matters to Kohelet is the here and now, and what we're doing here now, okay, is simcha, is a simcha. We're getting together communally and we're connecting with each
Sorry,
other.
we lost
It
you
doesn't
again.
matter what we say. That's the point I'm trying to make. The point is that we are here now and we are together and we are talking. It doesn't matter whether you agree with me, you don't agree with me, it doesn't matter. What matters is the Zoom meeting, the communal meeting.
I don't get your
Great.
point.
Great. Okay. Thank you. We missed a few things in the middle, so I'm not sure we figured out how you got to that, but that's a lovely way to end the class. So I will see people next week, hopefully, if you can come on,
Yes.
and we will continue, but I won't recap again.
Okay.
That's it. We're done with the recapping. If
Thank
you
you
weren't here.
so much.
But for next week,
Thank
we'll
you.
go move on to the next part. Thank you for the
Thank
good
you
news,
so
Karen. To
much.
everybody.
It was
Thank you.
great. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
Brad.
Okay.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.